So today we're going to talk to y'all about our feelings, the feelings we experienced during our deconstruction, immediately after our deconstruction. And then the second part of the video will be us discussing whether we still have any PFSD, post-faith stress disorder. So I'm Josh.
And I'm Lindsay.
And welcome to the post-faith path. So we both had radically different emotional experiences. My deconstruction, as you have seen on the video, was longer. And it was more akin to peeling an onion apart. Over the years, I experienced different emotions, but they were not as intense. They lasted longer, but they weren't as intense. I definitely felt lost. As things began to unravel, I wasn't sure who I was, what I believed, what the ramifications were if I did ultimately land on the side of it's all bullshit. So lost was definitely something I felt. A little bit of fear to go along with that, because as most of you have experienced who have gone through this, Christianity was a part of my identity. And I didn't know who I was going to be afterwards. I didn't know how Lindsey was going to respond. I didn't know if I was going to lose friends and family. I did lose some friends. I did not lose any family, and that'll be a video for another time. But at the same time, I experienced some excitement. Getting answers to questions that I'd had was very exciting. Learning more and more and more about how the Bible came to be, who wrote it or didn't write it, depending on which side you're going down at that moment. That was exciting for me to give myself the permission and the freedom to explore answers to questions that nobody would ever give me, whether they had the answers or didn't. I just never got those answers. And it was a lonely time. With Lindsey still being a Christian, I was pretty much on my own, but it wasn't horribly lonely. I had my books. I had my people that I was reading that had been through what I was going through. And so I did not feel utterly alone. But I was lonely at times. I couldn't share everything with Lindsey. I couldn't even share everything if I wanted to, because a lot of the time I didn't know how to voice exactly what I was learning and how I was feeling to let her know what was going on without her feeling attacked. Because again, I wasn't just deconstructing my faith, I was deconstructing hers. And those feelings lasted pretty much the entire 3 years. Again, not acute, didn't drive me into despair, but they were there the whole time. And that carried over after the deconversion into an anger, became more of an anger at Christians and Christianity. And it manifested a couple of times. One in particular was in public, not too long after we had both deconstructed at this point. We were at Waffle House. And for those of you that don't know what a Waffle House is, I'm very sorry. It is an excellent dining experience. We had just finished eating. We were getting ready to leave. I had walked up to the counter to pay. and some loudmouth had come in and sat down at the bar. And he was being as loud as he possibly could, telling everybody about Jesus and all this other crap. I don't even remember what all he was running his mouth about. He got an earful about it all being bullshit, which he never would have gotten had he not been a loudmouth. Another time, a friend on Facebook posted an article about how all people deconstruct, all the people who deconstruct because of trauma. And I responded to him that was not true at all. And I explained to him that I could show him how the Bible was full of shit. And his response was, okay, show me. I can't be afraid of the truth. So I started in an email with my typical question. Why do the Old Testament quotes in the New Testament not match the text in the Old Testament? Never got a response. Haven't spoken to him since. So those were my feelings during and immediately after deconstruction. And now Lindsey's turn.
So at the beginning of my deconstruction, when we started noticing differences between the Septuagint Masoretic text and the Old Testament, for me, it was confusion. And that's really all I know how to describe it as, is confusion. As time went on, and I started researching more and digging more, slowly over time, it became anger. And the more I learned, the angrier I got. So mine turned to rage. And that's really the best way, Still at that time, before I completely disavowed, I was angry at God, and I was crying in the shower. Usually is where I chose my time of prayer, and expressing myself to God, begging him to reveal himself to me in some new way, or bring some new information to me. And when I didn't hear from him, I got angrier and angrier. But my anger, I realized one day, was misplaced, because once I disavowed my Christian faith and belief in God, sorry about the cattail. If I didn't believe in him, I couldn't be angry, and that just doesn't make any sense. But I was still angry. I had all this anger. And I did lose friends and family over this, because I eventually came out, mainly on Facebook. I had a moment. We had a family thing going on, kind of a family crisis. And I just put it out there, if if God is real, he's the most evil MFer there is. And basically how I came out to my family was on Facebook. And so I had family members block me. Now we have since repaired, and one of my family members, when they found out not via Facebook, but another way. In fact, I think I was the one that told them. They actually called other family members and told them, Lindsey's da 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 da, and she's no longer a Christian, and blah blah blah, and just spread my name through the mud to as many family members as this person could. So for a while there, I really had, other than his family, had no one to talk to, and no family ties, extended family, aunts, uncles, whatever. And those relationships have since been repaired. And they understand where I'm at, and I understand where they're at, and there's a mutual respect there. I don't disrespect anybody for their beliefs, no matter what they are. But it hurt. I felt hurt and heartbroken. But I remember, after a conversation with a particular family member, that I was door dashing, and I remember being door dashing that day and sitting in a chicken salad chick just bawling my eyes out. I mean, sitting there waiting for a DoorDash order. And I'm just sitting there just crying. And people are just walking by like, what is wrong? But they never said anything to me. They just kind of look at me strange and dart their eyes away and then walk past me. So I won't say that I felt a loss, but I was confused. Why is this happening? I had lots of questions. And so, it turned to anger. And I lashed out on Facebook, and never to a person in general or specifically, and not to people in general, but I did lash out. Facebook was kind of my way of venting, and felt alone at times, even though I had him. The other anger I felt was towards people in his family who were still, they're still today very openly Christian and talk about it. And I felt anger toward about why I couldn't express myself, or felt like I could express myself and what I believed, or argue with them, because that would have been disrespectful. So I had all this pent up anger and rage. So yeah, I think that was it for me.
Okay.
Just anger and confusion.
Anger and confusion. So now the question is, today, 5 years later, do we still have any post-faith stress disorder? And I'm going to say I don't think so. So we'll make more videos about how we handle Christmas, Easter, stuff like that, because my parents still get together. But for the most part, no, we just kind of roll our eyes. Now, whether we do it physically or just internally depends on who's looking at us at the moment. Not too long ago, we had an individual come up and give us, have y'all ever seen those pennies with the cross cut out of them in the middle? Well, he gave us each one of those and told us the story of his son, who was a police officer, being hit and killed on the side of the road. And he gives out these pennies and tells his son's story and gives the gospel to everyone. It's not just random atheists that he happens to find. And so we listened. We told him how sorry we were for his loss. We thanked him for the gift. And then when we got to the car, we tossed him. It's not proper, in our view, to take anything out on him for his beliefs or how he wants to share the memory of his son. But honestly, it didn't trigger any feelings in either one of us. We listened. Another human being in pain, and this is how he deals with that pain, then okay, we're okay with that. We roll our eyes if we got to go into Hobby Lobby for somebody to get something. Christian music at different businesses we go in. Yeah, we'll roll our eyes and snicker a little.
Okay, wait a minute. That irks me. So the whole Christian music, like, I feel like I'm assaulted sometimes. So
okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah, so that kind of irks me still. 5 years post, I'm like, oh my gosh. And there are times where I still get frustrated with certain people in the family, and I shouldn't. But with their they'll say something, something's going on. They've been told something, and they're like, well, it's just sin. And I'm like, so I have to cool my tongue and just bite my tongue and turn around and walk away, so I don't open my mouth, because I really have no filter whatsoever, for the most part. And I will, before I even know I'm doing it, stuff will just fly out of my mouth. So yeah, that's the wild Lindsey, and I don't make any excuses or apologize for her. But there are times where the Christian music, or I'll hear a Christian say something, I'm just like, and I turn around and walk away. stare out a window, something, think about something else. So I think I do still have a little bit of the post-faith
Stress disorder.
Yeah, that
PFSD.
thing. Yeah, that thing. And now I will say the comments that we get, that the comments from the nice Christians, I love those. I love talking to people like that, where you can have a cordial, respectful discussion about each one's beliefs. That's great. The ones that are vile and nasty and just want to be butt heads, I'll come after you. I really will. I have no filter, and I'll make fun of you. But so yeah, probably you might not have none, but I still do. I think there are times I get triggered. Just saying.
So a little more time for Lindsey to process.
Mm-hmm.
Fair warning again to Christians who want to come here and be rude. She has PFSD. It's a medical condition
That he made up.
that I made up. But that's it from us today. Hey, down in the comments, if you want to share some of your stories, do you have PFSD? Do certain scenarios trigger your PFSD?
Well, and I'm trying to convince him to go ahead and create an email. That if you guys have stories or whatnot, you don't feel like typing it all out in comment section where it may be missed or whatnot. It's very important to you. Trying to y'all tell them, create an email for Post Faith Path that y'all can send your stories and stuff to, and we'll read them. We won't give out sensitive information about you. Just, hey, this is Bob, and Bob wanted to share his story. So yeah, y'all, hey, create an email, Josh.
All right. Tell me down in the comments. Would you like an email where you could type out your story, send it to us, and we could read it on here for you? Share your story with whatever information you wanted the world to hear.
And very, very soon we're going to get more into, okay, so I guess before we end here, he's an atheist. I'm a soft atheist, hard agnostic. I don't know I hate labels, but that's the best way to describe it. And we believe different things about the world we live in. Sometimes they're polar opposites. Sometimes they're just opposites. They're not complete opposites, but they differ. So we still don't believe exactly the same. I believe there's an afterlife. There's something after we leave this physical body. This one, maybe not so much. And we'll go into that in the future about how our post-faith path is developed and what we believe and why in a future video. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video that just popped up on the screen. We hope y'all have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Bye.
Bye.